Chapter 88, Part 3. And that house was made large and wide, a lofty tower being built. Upon it opening temple closing by the sheep, for the god of the sheep. The house was low, but the tower was elevated and very high. Then the god of the sheep stood upon that tower, and caused a full table to approach before him. Again I saw that those sheep wandered, and went various ways, forsaking their house. And that their God called to some among them, whom he sent to them. But these the sheep began to kill, and when one of them was saved from slaughter, he leaped, and cried out against those who were desirous of killing him. He sent also many others to them to testify, and with lamentations to exclaim against them. Again I saw, when some of them forsook the house of their God and his tower, wandering on all sides, and growing blind. I saw that the God of the sheep made a great slaughter among them in their pasture, until they cried out to him in consequence of that slaughter. Then he departed from the place of his habitation, and left them in the power of lions, tigers, wolves, and deceit, and in the power of foxes, and of every beast. And the wild beasts began to tear them. I saw too that he forsook the house of their fathers, and their tower, giving them all into the power of lions, to tear and devour them, into the power of every beast. Then I began to cry out with all my might, imploring the God of the sheep, and showing him how the sheep were devoured by all the beasts of prey. But he looked on in silence, rejoicing that they were devoured, swallowed up, and carried off, and leaving them in the power of every beast for food. He called also 70 shepherds, and resigned to them the care of the sheep, that they might overlook them, saying to them, and to their associates, every one of you henceforwards overlook the sheep, and whatsoever I command you, do, and I will deliver them to you numbered. I will tell you which of them shall be slain, these destroy. And he delivered the sheep to them. Then he called to another, and said, understand, and watch everything which the shepherds shall do to these sheep, for many more of them shall perish than I have commanded. Of every excess and slaughter which the shepherds shall commit, there shall be an account, as how many may have perished by my command, and how many they may have destroyed of their own heads. Of all the destruction brought about by each of the shepherds, there shall be an account, and according to the number, I will cause a recital to be made before me. How many they have destroyed of their own heads, and how many they have delivered up to destruction, that I may have this testimony against them, that I may know all their proceedings, and that, delivering the sheep to them, I may see what they will do, whether they will act as I have commanded them, or not. Of this, however, they shall be ignorant, neither shalt thou make any explanation to them, neither shalt thou reprove them, but there shall be an account of all the destruction done by them in their respective seasons. Then they began to kill and destroy more than it was commanded them. And they left the sheep in the power of lions, so that very many of them were devoured. and swallowed up by lions, and tigers, and wild boars, preyed upon them. That tower they burnt, and overthrew that house. Then I grieved extremely on account of the tower, and because the house of the sheep was overthrown. Neither was I afterwards able to perceive whether they again entered that house. The shepherds likewise, and their associates, delivered them to all the wild beasts, that they might devour them, each of them in his season. According to his number, was delivered up, each of them, one was another, was described in a book. How many of them, one was another, were destroyed in a book? More, however, than was ordered, every shepherd killed and destroyed. Then I began to weep, and was greatly indignant, on account of the sheep. In like manner also, I saw in the vision him who wrote, how he wrote down one, destroyed by the shepherds. Every day he ascended, remained, and exhibited each of his books to the God of the sheep, containing all which they had done, and all which each of them had made away with, and all which they had delivered up to destruction. He took the book up in his hands, read it, sealed it, and deposited it. After this, I saw shepherds overlooking for 12 hours. And behold, 3 of the sheep departed, arrived, went in, and began building all which was fallen down of that house. But the wild boars hindered them, although they prevailed not. Again they began to build as before, and raised up that tower, which was called a lofty tower, the second temple. And again they began to place before the tower a table with every impure and unclean kind of bread upon it. Moreover also all the sheep were blind, and could not see, as were the shepherds likewise. Thus were they delivered up to the shepherds for a great destruction, who trod them under foot, and devoured them. Yet was their God silent, until all the sheep in the field were destroyed. The shepherds and the sheep were all mixed together, but they did not save them from the power of the beasts. Then he who wrote the book ascended, exhibited it, and read it at the residence of the God of the sheep. He petitioned him for them, and prayed, pointing out every act of the shepherds, and testifying before him against them all. Then taking the book, he deposited it with him, and departed.